Good afternoon to everyone. I want to give you a little bit of my background. I've been a direct service provider of after-school programs since 1989 and have evolved now to working with school districts across the state of Ohio in consultation and evaluation of 21st Century Community Learning Centers programs. I actually was a direct service provider of 21st Century when the pilot programs came out in 2003, so I have extensive experience with 21st Century and have seen this field evolve from 1989 to now into a real dynamic process of how we service kids and how we provide programs for kids and how we can impact not only schools but also the communities that these children live in. So let me talk a little bit about what the challenges and opportunities are right now for direct service providers and for anyone in the after-school field and providing programs to children. Right now we have an absolute open opportunity, especially on the local level. Schools are just beginning to think about ESSA, develop their plans and strategies. Most of the work has been on the state level, and it's just now filtering down to the schools. So schools are right now trying to understand the ESSA plan and understand what strategies they need to implement to help fulfill ESSA. So after-school programs in schools right now and on the local level have an absolute opportunity to be part of that planning strategy. This is going to be a shared responsibility. And knowing and identifying how your program can support the school's plan and share how you can support those plans is going to be really critical to the process. Going in and understanding what ESSA is all about, understanding what schools are going to do and need to do to implement this plan, and then sharing how you can support those schools and with your programs as they are now can be really important in helping this process along. One of the challenges that you're going to have is getting meetings with the school district administrators, not only on the district level, but also on the local level in the buildings with principals. And you finding the time to do that, because we are all really busy with our own programs and processes, and now we need to be engaged in what the schools are doing too. So finding the time, setting up those meetings, and asking to be part of those school building leadership teams will be critical in this whole process. And connecting your after-school program with the regular school day, making sure your activities align to the after-school your after-school activities aligned to what's happening during the school day will be very important and very helpful in this whole process. So here are some tools that I have that are always reminders to me of what our jobs are. This student success model was developed by the 21st Centuries and shows what roles we can play in after school with school districts. At the top of the list is shared responsibility. These plans can't be implemented by the schools themselves. They have to have community partnerships. They have to deal with a lot of the whole child as opposed to just the academic child. So we have an ample opportunity right now in the after-school field to be part of that shared responsibility. We have, for a long time, shared that responsibility, but sometimes we share it all by ourselves. And schools don't really do a very effective job of connecting with us. So right now we have the opportunity to help support them and help support their planning and make them understand how we can do that. Partnerships at multiple levels. In after school we have, particularly in the 21st Century programs, we have those partnerships. Community programs come into our programs all the time to provide children access to the needed resources that they have, not only the children but their families, and making those connections to family and community resources we have an opportunity to help support schools in doing. So this model right here reminds me all the time of what children need and what it really means for a child to be successful. I have developed some communication tools because it is really important that after-school staff meet regularly with day school administrators. To many of us, a meeting, because we believe it will take a lot of time, so is overwhelming. and we don't meet as often as we need to. So don't think of it as a overwhelming process. Think of it in 20-minute meetings. I've developed what I believe is a really effective tool to ask a principal to meet with me, and that's a 20-minute agenda. That 20-minute agenda knows that he's not going to take up much, that I'm not going to take up much of his time. And I can tell you, even if he balks at the 20-minute, I can condense it down to a 10-minute meeting, and many, many times he can't refuse. So think of meetings not as an hour and a half or 2 hours of your time, but think of them in short spurts, and think of holding meetings regularly. Creating responsibility checklists has been really important in processing the roles and responsibilities that we have in the schools. Not only telling the schools what we will do for them and taking responsibility for that, but asking them to be part of the responsibility checklist too, and providing us with some resources that we need to support our programs. So that tool has been really helpful in just defining roles and responsibilities. And then further, there are creating memos of understanding so that we all know what we're supposed to be doing and what roles we're supposed to be fulfilling. These communications tools have been very important in my programs to support student learning and to find what roles we have in that, to find what part we have in that student learning. We are very strong in after-school and developmental programming, and I think we need to spread that word. It does not necessarily always mean that we are working academically with students, but we certainly are working with the support skills that they need to be good learners. You know, attending school regularly. If we have good programs, children want to come because they want to come to after school. Decision making and self-governance, we are very strong in teaching children how to manage themselves. Teaching children communication skills. All of this is what we do well in after school, and all of this is what school districts need to know we do well. So defining your roles and identifying your program, how program can support skills that children need to support their ESSA plans is very important. And this developmental program planning is an extremely important tool to share with the schools and let them know that this is what you're doing in your after-school program. This is all shared responsibility. And I think for too long we've separated ourselves on one side of this chart, and we really haven't worked very well with the other side of the chart, which is the school side. If you see my chart, I have communication arrows going both directions. So I think it's extremely important that we understand who communicates with who, how we communicate with those providers at the school level, and how we talk to one another about supporting this plan and supporting the work that these schools are doing. Right now, the schools are in a learning curve, and we have an opportunity to be part of that learning curve with them. And we have a really important role to play in helping support them in defining their plans and being a partner with them in that planning process. I have seen good work done by school districts who embrace after school and who embed it in their programs and think about it not as a set-aside program, but as a program that can support their children and the work that they're doing within their school day. And those programs in those schools have not only impacted the students, but they've impacted the entire community because they've opened the doors to the community to come in and help too. So we have an opportunity right now with this new change in from No Child Left Behind to Every Student Succeeds to support schools, to support students, and to support the communities that these students live in. So I thank you for the opportunity to talk. My tools are also available. I'll gladly share them with Jillian, and she can share them with you. I appreciate the opportunity to come in here and talk to you today because I've seen my 21st century programs, and after-school programs once we have the district understand how we can be an effective partner in their process, change the way that schools think about children, change the way schools think about students, and really bring success to the table for not only the schools so that they can that they're graduating students and that students are learning, but also to the community that the children are living in. So thank you very much.